Right. Good evening, everybody. Happy Monday evening. Happy Tuesday morning to those of you joining from Taiwan. And Gilbert asked me to present today, and because he has a trial that he's preparing for. So today's topic, I wanted to keep it within the topic of the early masters. So I'm actually. Yes. All right. So I'm actually going to talk about Bodhidharma's 4 practices. So this is a really short teaching that is very useful. I'm going to share a URL if you're interested in reading the whole thing later. It's in Master Shengen's book, In the Spirit of Chan. It's a really good introduction to Chan. And Bodhidharma's 4 practices are a very, very useful way to look at how karma works from you zoom back from a broader scale, but also moment to moment. I have talked about this very same topic, more like the zoomed out, how does karma work? But I really want to use today's talk to zoom in a little bit and make it about our moment-to-moment practice. So Bodhidharma talks about 4 different practices. I'm just going to tell you what those practices are. The first one is accepting karmic retribution. And the second one is adapting to conditions. The third one is no seeking, and the fourth one is union with the Dharma. So I'm gonna modify the language a little bit just to make it more approachable and more of a aid to practice. So the first practice is accepting karmic retribution. So a nice way to rephrase this is to say accepting responsibility. So from moment to moment, your experience, there is a stream of events that lead to the present moment. That is a personal stream. So if I am angry right now, that is a result of certain actions that I have taken right now or in the past. All of my past conditioning lead to this point in time when I am angry. So this is it's the working of pratitya samutpada, causes. Though we say causes and conditions, it's actually causes and consequences. And this stream is a personal stream of all of my own past conditioning and actions leading to this moment in time. Say it's a moment of anger. So what does it mean to accept responsibility? To accept responsibility means to own up to the fact that you are a player in this game. Say it's a card game. This means that whatever, at any point in the game, what you've got, you have played a role in the cards that you hold. So let's not think about it as that very first point in the game where you've just been dealt a hand. Just think of it as a subsequent point in the game. The cards that you hold is a result of it is one aspect is the result of your own actions. So if I'm angry right now, that moment of anger is a result of my own conditioning. So that's one stream that is coming in. Okay. I'm going to talk about all 4, and then we can talk about how we can actually practice with this. The second practice it's called adapting to conditions. So Master Shingen calls it adapting to conditions. So the second practice, you can think of it as, while there's a personal stream of this rolling events that come in to this present moment, what is happening in this present moment is also influenced by all of the other things that are going on around. So I may have, say, a history of indulging in my anger. So say I have a strong conditioning to get angry, right? So then this moment, I'm getting angry. It's a definite, there's a definite correlation with all of my past actions and my past conditioning that come to this moment of anger arising. But this moment of anger arising is also, what also contributes to it is the things that are happening around me. Say I'm driving and somebody cuts me off. It's not just my own conditioning, it's also the fact that somebody cut me off. So there's what is happening in the environment. So the condition, that's called causes and conditions. So two aspects of karma. One is called causes and consequences. Causes and consequences are, if A happens, then B happens, and then because of B, C. So it's like one personal stream of events. Causes and conditions, in this particular, if you split it up as to how karma works, as a result of causes and consequences, which is this stream of actions coming in, and then you could think of causes and conditions as a zillion other stream of causes and consequences coming to this moment, creating an environment where something can happen. So I have all of these seeds of anger in me, and in that moment of something happening, anger arises. So there's a personal stream, and then there is this environment, which is the conditions. So it's very skillful to practice with these two inputs. Okay, so the two inputs, one is a personal input, and then the other is an environmental input. So that is, causes and consequences, and causes and conditions. And the two practices that are associated with it is, the first practice that is associated with causes and consequences is accepting responsibility. So Master Shingen calls it accepting karmic retribution, which it's a bit of I would say it's a judgmental way of looking at it. It just feels like I will, it feels like it's a harsh judgment coming at you. Not quite so. It it's about accepting that in this, if you're playing a game of cards at a point further into the game, the cards that you hold, the impact of, there's an impact that you've had in the cards that you hold, and that's what you're bringing in to this moment. And then what is the accepting causes and conditions is like what other cards are out there for you to work with in the game. That is just, say it's a game where somebody discards a card, it's their own stream of causes and consequences that's resulting in certain cards being available for you at this moment. So you could think of multiple streams of personal causes and consequences come up to create causes and conditions. So that's a simplification of how karma works. And the way we can work with it, that Bodhidharma, the first ancestor of Chan, he's got this work, a short work called Bodhidharma's 4 practices, 2 principles and 4 practices. I'm just talking about the 4 practices here. So accepting responsibility, or accepting karmic retribution, and then adapting to conditions. Adapting to conditions means that you recognize that you recognize that there are conditions that may be conducive to something or not. So that's again a binary way of looking at it, to say, are the conditions conducive or not? A more nuanced way of looking at it is to recognize that conditions play a part in what is happening in this moment. All right, so that's the second practice. The third practice is no seeking. So the third practice, you could say this is like saying that let me read to you what no seeking is about. All right, so the third of Bodhidharma's 4 practices is no seeking. There is a Chinese saying that people raise children to help them in old age, and people accumulate food in case of famine. So today, people in the West may not raise children just to support them in old age, but people probably still accumulate food or wealth in case of hardship. So this is not the attitude of no seeking. In the practice of no seeking, we continually, diligently engage in useful activity, yet we have no thought that this activity is for personal gain now or in the future. So we don't look for personal benefits. Okay, so this practice is about not coming into the present moment with a mind of craving. So you could think about it that way. Not coming into the present moment with a mind of craving. So we'll get into more nuance on this. It's no seeking, because there is a lot of nuance here, especially when you think of this as a how it works with moment-to-moment practice. And the 4th practice is union with the Dharma. So this is like according with Pratitya Samutpada. This is kind of the culmination of all of the previous 3 practices, where you're completely aligned with the flow of causes and consequences, causes and conditions with Pratitya Samutpada. So that is the union with Dharma. In a way, the 4th practice is is a culmination. It's a culmination of all of the previous 3, and if that's the one practice you choose, then that's wonderful. So if you look at how these 4 practices, we could use them for our moment-to-moment practice. The first one, accepting responsibility or accepting karmic retribution, is to say that whatever is happening right now is a result of things that I have done, body, speech, and mind in the past. So we recognize that it is, there's a contribution, there's a personal contribution to that. And it is best to not think of it as either a judgmental way. It's like, this is a retribution. So I am suffering now because of all of the sins of my past. Instead, to accept responsibility is to say that I have had a role to play in what is going on right now. Okay, so that's an element of responsibility, and it is not, it's like it's a very subtle thing, is that it is not come at it from a position of judgment, but to come at it with a position of an understanding of pratitya samutpada. With this, Gilbert often says it's natural. It's natural that anger is arising right now. Because it's arisen in the past. And not only has it arisen in the past, I have entertained it in the past, right? If it only arises and it just passes away, it's not such a big deal. But I have entertained it in the past. I have watered. There's the seed of anger that I have watered in the past. That plant has bloomed and, given fruit, and more seeds there are more seeds. So it's only natural that anger arises. The wonderful thing is, just by that recognition, by recognizing that, that very first practice, by recognizing that it's only natural that anger arises, that in itself is extremely freeing. It's only natural that I'm worried right now. I encourage you to try it. All of us right now, we are experiencing something. There's a certain state of mind that we are in right now. It may be pleasant. There's a feeling, if you will. It may be a pleasant feeling. It may be an unpleasant feeling. It may be that you're feeling very calm. It may be that you're feeling anxious, tired, bright, worried, concerned, happy. Whatever it is that you're feeling, it's only natural. It's only natural that this feeling is arising right now. And with this recognition that this feeling that arises, there is a component of past conditioning that is allowing this feeling to come up. The second one is about conditions, causes and conditions. So if you're tired right now, it could be that you didn't have it. You've had a long day, or you did not have a good rest last night. There are certain it's a consequence of certain causes in the past that say you're feeling tired. And then there's also conditions. Say you've been hurrying. Maybe you had all the reasons to be tired like 15 minutes ago, but it's only now that you're sitting down and it is even possible for you to recognize that you're tired. So tiredness is arising not only because of all of the causes and consequences, but also there's this environment where it is possible for the tiredness to actually come up and be manifested, because there's space for it to be experienced, if you will. So the adapting to conditions is even instead of saying it's just adapting to conditions, I would just say there too, it's like about accepting the environmental impact. So there's a personal impact, and then there is this environmental impact. So accepting that there's an impact by the actions of others, by the scene that is set, by multiple karmic streams that are entering this present moment. So when we just work with these first two things, causes and consequences, and then causes and conditions, when we can touch this without judgment, with simply saying it's only natural that, say, tiredness is arising right now. And we greet this thing that is coming up with the recognition and acceptance. We welcome whatever this present moment experience is. However it registers, we recognize and we welcome it. And when we can recognize and welcome the present moment experience, there's clarity and harmony. So if we only do these two practices, then it's just wonderful. It's just wonderful, just doing these two practices. The third practice is no seeking. So if you could interpret this with I at any moment I should not have an agenda of any kind. It really depends on there's a wrong way to interpret this. And there is a wrong way to interpret this is to say that at any moment of time, I should not have an intention of any kind. I should be completely only react to these two streams, the personal causes and consequences and the environmental causes and conditions, and whatever arises is just arises. So I should not be thinking that I have a goal. So instead, it's about not having craving. Instead, it's not having that stickiness. It is about having the freedom of something arising. It's about wu wei. It's about the action that is non-action. It's about having the conditions for free action to arise, free and appropriate response to arise to that present moment, which is the result of that, personal stream of causes and consequences and the environmental stream of causes and conditions. So no seeking is coming to this present moment, accepting both streams, the personal and the environmental stream, to say that it's only natural that, say, at this moment, anger, say, arises. It's only natural that happens because there's this personal contribution of, having those seeds of anger, of having watered those seeds of anger, that is bringing me to this point where that seed can sprout. And accepting conditions is saying that there's an environment in which my seed of anger got triggered. So it's to really do this right. this personal and environmental streams have to be given the right amount of let's say, the subtlety is in not saying that, oh, it's all about me, or it's all about the environment. So it would be wrong to say that, yeah, I'm just angry all the time. It's just me. That's the way I am. So that would be the incorrect way of dealing with it. Or, oh, you are always triggering me. It's your problem that I'm getting angry. So that would also be incorrect. Instead, it is to recognize that, anger has happened, and it's only natural that I get angry in this kind of a circumstance. It's happened before, and sure enough, it's happening again. And to recognize that, with that recognition, with that kind of an easy recognition, you're paving the way for that third practice, which is the mind of no seeking. The mind of no seeking is a mind of non-attaching. It's the mind of, in nirvana, it could be interpreted as no blowing. Often it is interpreted as blowing out of a fire, but it also can be interpreted as no blowing. So say there's a fire, you're not blowing at it and making it flame up some more. So the no seeking is the no fanning the flames. Look at that. Yeah, that's better. So it's no fanning the flames. So it's so step one, recognizing causes and consequences. The step two, recognizing causes and conditions. And 3 is a mind of no fanning the flames. All right, with these 3, it is possible to now do the 4th practice, which is union with the Dharma. Here you could interpret Dharma as the way. So union with the way. And you could think of this as according with pratitya samutpada. So, or as Han Chan puts it, simply accord with whatever state of mind you're in. That actually covers all 4 of them. So simply accord with whatever state of mind you're in. Simply harmonize. Before you accord, you have to recognize. So simply recognize and simply harmonize with whatever state of mind you're in. And with this, the right action can arise. Free action can arise. The doing, non-doing, wei wu wei can arise. So these are the 4 practices of Bodhidharma. And if you could try it, it can make such a big difference. You'd be surprised how powerful it is to recognize with this mind of no fanning the flames. Think of it that way. No seeking seems really, really hard because it seems like it seems like emptiness or shunyata, or just maintain the mind of shunyata. That could lead into some false expectations where you may think that, oh, I am playing a card game. Of course, the hand the cards that I've got right now, it depends on my past actions, and whatever the state that of the game that I'm in, where everybody is, they've got their cards out there that I may be able to pick from, or whatever else that I'm going to do, that's there. But also I am playing in this moment, I'm playing this game with certain rules, and I am playing in order to, it's not as though I don't care whether I win or lose, right? So this is the nuance about the no seeking. So I'm playing a game. There are rules to this game. There's what I bring into this moment, and then there's what's available as like cards that I can pick from. That depends upon what everybody else is bringing into this moment of the game. Now, but I am playing in order to win, right? I'm playing in order to win. However, I am not stuck to the winning. Right. So that's the nuance, because sometimes when we think of it as no seeking, we think that at that moment I should not care what, I should just be like, I don't care. No, you're just not stuck to the winning or the losing. It's not sticky. And it's that word nirvana, which is you're not fanning the flames. So you're simply according with your present moment. So that means that if you're running a business, that means simply according with your causes and conditions at that point, means that you're running a business in order to make a profit. No seeking at that point does not mean that you'll run a business without caring about whether you make a profit or not. Instead, what it means that you are running a business at that point in time, you are according with the conditions, with the hand that you're dealt, the cards that, your contribution to where you are in the game, and you are not clinging to what may be pleasant or unpleasant about either of these. Instead, you're truly free. That's the mind of no seeking, is a mind of not fanning the flames, so that you can accord, which is that fourth one. You can enter into the union with the Dharma, which is you can accord with the flow of pratitya samutpada. Okay, so not fanning the flames is the non-sticky, the non-stickiness. It is what helps. It is what helps that the wu wei, which is the action of non-action, to actually happen. So that's the union with Dharma. So it's just these four practices. That's just a beautiful way of moment to moment in your daily life. Simple things that you can do to enter into this flow state of union with Dharma, or union with pratitya samutpada, the action of non-action. Okay, I want to pause there. We'll also do like a meditation where we're actually recognizing this and using these 4 practices. We'll try that in our meditation later. But let's take a few moments to see what you think about these 4 practices of Bodhidharma. There's a subtlety. Are you picking up that subtlety? Because it can so easily be misinterpreted as, oh, you accept karmic retribution. I accept that all of the suffering that's happening right now is because of things that I did wrong in the past. That's like so, I don't know. It's a very, very judgmental way of looking at it. Whereas to recognize that this is arising because of there's a personal stream of causes and consequences that's bringing it to this point. So there's this, I have watered the seeds of anger in the past, and there's no wonder anger arises. So May?
Hi, so I'm just wondering, like, practically, how does that work? Like, you do them separately and in sequence? And is that what you mean? Like, you first do the first one, and then I feel like I'm kind of there, and then I do the second one? Like, how does that work exactly?
You could just do it, starting with the first one is always a good start. And but truly, there is both the personal stream as well as the environmental stream. Sometimes we often err in the one or the other. Sometimes we we may have our own preferences too. So sometimes we may say, oh, everything is because things that I did wrong in the past. Or we could say that, oh, whatever is happening is because of all of the good things I did in the past. So we may err in the personal responsibility, either positively or negatively. We will, if you look around you or you just look at yourself, is it more often that you think that, oh, things are going so bad, it's because I screwed up? Is that what comes up often? Or things are going well, it's all because of me. Or for things to go well, it's all on me. So those are some ways that you may be misapplying that first personal responsibility. So you're going very heavy on that personal responsibility. How you may go heavy on the conditions, which is the environmental, causality, would be that things are going well right now. It's all because of, it just so happens that things are going well right now. Or if things are not going well, it's always like that. Things always happen. So that never goes well for me. So you may be misapplying that the impact of the environment. So we can, if you really look at your life, you'd be able to see how you may not be applying these first 2 practices. And there's a huge difference if you just moment to moment, if you can say, so I'm getting angry. It's no wonder I in this kind of a situation, I usually get angry. So there's an element of recognition of personal responsibility. That is subtle in the sense that it's not like, well, I'm always like that. So that's a very strong sense of self. It's very rigid, versus no wonder. And there's an impact of the environment as well. So I am I getting this through? That is the subtle. It's not like crushing the paper. It's not like holding it so light that it just falls off, but it's like holding it just so. These 4 practices, if you can do it just so super powerful. Michael?
Yes, so Gilbert often says, in moment to moment, there's a choice, choose habitual tendencies or choose the Buddha. And what you described, like the personal responsibility, it's a bit, the way you described it was to recognize that whatever appears in this moment is a mixture of a personal component and an environmental. So it's like looking at the situation back to now. And of course, this applies also to from here to next. So in a sense, what one experiences is an environment, but of course, it's understood that it is a consequence of past choices. So this is a responsibility. So, and I wonder, in these moments, which are so critical, it would be so good to also realize the impact which one's decision right now to cling or not to cling will have on the environment. And in these moments, often it is hard to see this. If one could see it clearly.
Yeah.
So I wonder whether there's a way to, in these moments, to remind ourselves that this choice will impact the entire world in this sense.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. Yes. I feel like you just answered your, it was a great comment, Michael. Yeah, it is. In fact, it is so true that this personal stream, I just talked about this personal stream and then the coming together of other streams, right, into this moment. But it also ripples out like that. So it's also, this is what I was talking about. But from here, there's this broom, the rippling out. And what ripples out is not just your impact on other streams, but also on your stream. Yes. And these streams are all conventionally speaking, right? It is I'm not going to go into the conventionally speaking part. This topic is on the side of the relative truth. It is not on the side of the absolute truth. I'm not going into the absolute truth mode in this topic. Wendy?
Thank you. You just said about the crushing the paper, and I thought I crushed the paper trying to get Dharma. I'm not quite getting it. So I think maybe it's that trying so hard to seek. Maybe that is a problem, actually.
So when I said that just simply recognizing is very powerful. If you take that attitude as, say anger is arising, it's only natural for anger to arise in this moment because of these two streams. Like, I usually get angry in this kind of a situation, right? That's my habitual tendency. And the situation is just the kind of situation that, like is the perfect environment for my habitual tendency to actually kick in. So when we take that kind of an approach, then it's like, yeah, that makes sense. So there's this new awareness in that moment. And that awareness is what Michael talked about. It's just that is going to have that ripple effect. So that's all we need to bring into that moment, that little bit of awareness. And it's huge impact. And that little bit of awareness comes from understanding that every moment is this coming together of causes and consequences, causes and conditions. And all we need to do every moment is to not fan the flames, right? Is that mind of no seeking is not that hard. Simply recognizing this means that we are not going to fan the flames. And it gives that moment of entry into harmonizing with Pratitya Samutpada, with the flow of mind, with that flow of, with that moment of union with the Dharma. That is what is going to open up that window. It's as simple as that. If we take that relaxed approach, all I need to do is to recognize, just simply to accord, to recognize and then to simply to accord. Yeah, that's gentle touch.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ruth Marie.
Hey, Sentha. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Well, so yesterday Vijay and I went kayaking and we had an encounter with, it was a beautiful day, wonderful, glorious. But we had an encounter with a boat that was launching and we thought we had room and they apparently almost stopped the boat on us, which was quite scary. And of course, you know, he's freezing and my heart's racing and I'm very upset. I want to say something to this person. I didn't. The situation was not safe. But my heart is racing and I'm definitely feeling all of my feelings. I'm very aware of what's going on, just like you said. And we're getting our kayak. We're not worried about getting our car anymore. We're like, let's get the kayak and let's get to the car. And as we're walking away, we noticed that he has a pig. And it was, they were trying to get this big pig on a boat and the pig didn't want to go to the boat. The pig was squealing. Just imagine like it just, it was abusive. And then some other kids come and they're beating their dog to make the dog to leave the pig alone. And of course there's more animal abuse. And, we're both just like shocked, upset. There's like, how do you accord with that? And we're just trying to get this kayak on the car and get out of here. I don't know what to do. Like, you can't call animal welfare. We're in the middle of nowhere. Like this
right.
is
sticks.
And so I'm just like, I want to say something, but there's nothing I can say. I mean, I can't make this man with this poor pig who's running away. They're trying to catch the pig. The pig, every time they get the pig is squealing. It's the worst sound that you ever can hear.
Right.
And I'm just thinking, like, even if, like, say that was a child, there seems to be, like, at some point, like, if it was a child, I feel like there should be some action. You can't just accord with the environment and go like, oh, kumbaya, everything is great. I mean, even with the pig, right. I wanted to grab the pig and say, I want to take this home with me, but you can't.
You can't.
And, we walked away and we both were, proud of ourselves because we didn't interfere. We didn't get, yell at the person. I mean, anger's there. I mean,
you didn't fan the flames and make it worse.
I didn't fan the flames, but it's like at that point, it's just like, we're just like, we went from this heaven realm to a hell realm in the matter of just like a snap of a finger, and we're just like, what causes and conditions led to that? Like, why are we in this environment? Like, what happened? Like, you know, like you're talking about cards. I'm like, cards are generally like very random, and of course that is a random event, but like, you know, like, I don't know, I'm just I don't know, could you speak to that?
Sure, yeah. One of the things that you do is that the why me is a cause of a big set of problems, right? So that's a compound. This fanning the flames is you could think of it as compounding the problem. So first off, you didn't compound the problem by maybe yelling at that person, right? And you know, there may be a zillion right responses for this situation. Let's, you know, it's helpful to go in and say that, you know, there's a wide variety of right responses, right? But you didn't do this compounding of this situation by an action where you were just simply reacting, right?
Oh, normally I would have yelled at the guy. I used to be a very angry person. So I would have said something, but I was, you know, I've been practicing just not allowing myself to be so triggered by things like that. But my heart like was racing, like pounding.
It's helpful to take a moment to connect with what your experience is, to name your experience. Is a big part of recognizing the experience. So even in this case, even before you recognize your personal stream and the environmental stream, any of that, to take a moment to say, this is what's happening right now for me. Is my heart is pounding. I'm hating this. I am getting angry. You're just recognizing how intensely you're experiencing this moment, and it's intensely unpleasant, right? You recognize that. You recognize that this is a moment when you're feeling all of this, and big thing here is to not to have this idea that to be a Chan practitioner means, you know, that kumbaya thing, or this always you know, it's always calm. That's like a sea without any waves whatsoever is my expectation for being a Chan practitioner. That's among the worst expectations that you can set up for yourself. So instead to say that this moment I am having a really intense experience right now. I'm having a really intensely unpleasant experience right now. I'm feeling angry. I'm feeling disgusted by this person, you know, how they are handling things. I am feeling hurt that this pig is being hurt. I am feeling I want to do something to help this pig. I am feeling frustrated, but that I am not. It is not in my jurisdiction to save this pig, right? All of these things. This is what I'm experiencing. So even before you go into, you know, accepting responsibility and accepting the role of the environment, it's really good to take that moment to recognize your experience. And then the second step is to say it's only natural that you feel all of these things because you're seeing an animal being mistreated. It's only natural that you feel all of these things. And you know, in a moment like this, it's not even necessary to note that, you know, you are coming into this moment with your conditioning and So is everybody else. Yeah, it may or may not be that helpful. But in this, when such an intense experience is happening, to recognize what that experience is, and to recognize that it is only natural that you're experiencing these things this way. So that's that element of pratitya samutpada. The moment that you recognize your experience and you recognize that it's only natural, right? That is that moment where you're not fanning the flames. So the not fanning the flames is a consequence, if you will, of just to name your experience and to accept that this is happening it's only natural. So that opens up that window for you to get into the flow. You're now entering the flow of pratitya samutpada. You're now entering the flow and you're harmonizing with that situation. And now, out of this, the right action can arise. And what that right action can be, it could be like, there could be like 10,000 right actions that could arise in this situation. But you're setting the stage for the right action to arise.
Yeah, I think we just discussed like how like we both kind of lacked compassion for the person that was doing it, like kind of like just we both had a long car ride back home. So we just kind of like discussed the situation and kind of our reactions to it and how we felt. Like, I guess we did know that was natural, and kind of like, just kind of using that situation to look at different components of how we could have had more compassion at some point for the person that was actually abusing the pig, because we don't know what happened to that person to make it like that, and like, why didn't we have more compassion for him? Why we were so angry at him? Like we kind of investigated that. So I guess that was kind of all the natural things to do afterwards. So yeah.
And when such an intense experience happens, it's really good to have some time to reflect on it, so that you could do the same things that I talked about, to recognize that this is what your experience was, and to recognize that it's natural that the pig was squealing, that person was not squealing, so it was only natural that your compassion was drawn to the pig, right?
Of course.
So, so
thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else, any other comments, anything you'd like to share? Michael?
Maybe just adding another comment, like you said how to enter the stream of this flow.
Yeah.
And then maybe something which would be helpful to add here is then to trust that it works. Like, it's as if all this suffering and this tension in the situation, once it's noticed, in a sense, to bring it back to mind, and trust that this will work.
Yeah. So that's that first two. There's a balance of the first two, the personal and the personal stream, recognizing the personal stream and the environmental stream. I think that's very important, because often we make mistakes in all through the first three that prevent that entry into the union with the Dharma. You may overemphasize personal responsibility, or you may underemphasize personal responsibility. You may overemphasize the impact of the environment, or you may underemphasize the importance of the environment. And then you may be, instead of practicing not fanning the flames, right? You're really fanning the flames. You're like, that's where the habitual patterning, it becomes so strong, right? Instead of that moment of clarity that opens things up. So with the first three is where what sets that stage for entering that flow of, to the union with the Dharma. Anything else? Anybody else with any other comments? All right, so let's do a meditation. Okay. Make sure that you're comfortably settled. And simply open to your experience right now, whatever your experience may be. And allow it to be wide open. It's like the door to your house is open. There's a welcome sign. Everyone is welcome. And whatever appears, whoever comes in, is appearing because of causes and conditions. Impeccable, completely natural. You don't have any expectation that only pleasant sensations or pleasant feelings or pleasant states of mind should arise. Not are you thinking that, oh my goodness, anytime I sit like this, I'm going to be bombarded with unpleasant sensations like pain or unpleasant feelings or thoughts. Instead, you're just like, whatever comes up. Maybe a body sensation, it could be a feeling, it could be a thought, image, whatever comes up. Pleasant, unpleasant, either is okay and welcome. And whatever comes up naturally. So just notice. I'm thinking that you'll need some quiet time for something to actually come up. We will lead up to that. But whatever comes up, it's just coming up due to causes and conditions. It may be your state of mind because of the past several hours, days, your state of mind from this stream of events that has brought you to right here. It could be because of the environment you're in right now, which in turn is a result of multiple causes and conditions, multiple stream of events. And all of that is fine. That is part of what is natural about what is arising right now. So with this complete relaxation that comes with this recognition that whatever comes up, it is natural, it's impeccable. It is the impeccable functioning of mind. So just allow whatever comes up to come up, only to be recognized, to be greeted. So you are, it's almost like you're the doorkeeper. You're the person who's greeting the guests at the door. And then they come in and they leave, that's fine. And it's only natural, whoever comes is welcome. So that is our approach to today's meditation. That with this deep understanding of Pratitya Samutpada, a deep understanding of causes and conditions, causes and consequences, the door is fully open. The welcome sign is out. And whoever comes in can come in and leave and go, that's fine. But whoever comes in will be greeted and welcomed. All right, I encourage you to try this practice during your daily life and just simply welcome whatever you're experiencing, to recognize it, to recognize the causes and consequences that lead to it, and the causes and conditions, the personal and the environmental aspects of that. To hold it as natural and to not fan those flames, and see how that works out. Yeah. All right. Thank you, everybody. Goodbye.
Thank you, Sentha. That was
Thank you,
great.
Sentha.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye,
you,
guys.
Sentha.
Santa.
Awesome.
Bye.
Thanks, Sentha.
Thank you, Sentha.
Thank you, Sentha. Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye, Michael. Thank you so much for hosting.
No problem. You're welcome. Okay,
Bye.
so bye-bye.